Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Angelica. If this is your first video here, what an interesting video for you to be seeing me first, because this is not like my hauls or fashion or makeup videos that I've filmed so far. But I kind of just wanted to sit down. I wanted part of my channel to also really be indicative of other parts of my personality outside of just the frivolity of talking about makeup and shoes and like fashion hauls, because my favorite thing about that is that it gives me a release or an outlet or something to be excited about that's silly, that is way less stressful than the actual everyday struggles that people face. I think though that there are a lot of things, if I'm being completely honest, that have made me like feel depressed lately. And I know that you guys don't even know me, or I'll probably share this on like, you know, social media or whatever to some people who know me, but I think it's very interesting, if I'm being totally real, and I'm just going to be real and talk, I think it's very interesting that we are all supposed to play all of these roles all the time, you know, at work, in our daily lives too. So not even just in professional settings. I think that we're meant to play roles all the time. And I think society purposely does it. I don't want to get too crazy. But I think that it's a lot safer for us to be in these simple little boxes. No chaos is caused, nobody's questioning anything. We're kind of just all zombies walking through our 9-to-5s and coming home and doing our responsibilities and our tasks. Again, not asking any questions and kind of just waking up the next day and doing it all over again, and then wondering why, you know, we're all, you know, drugged up, or, you know, like prescription drug wise, or, you know, feeling lousy, or wondering why we're feeling this void inside. And I can tell you from personal experience that that is what I deal with every day. So I know for a damn well fact that other people feel that way too. My friends have shared that with me, and I'm sure that total strangers that are just much better at presenting themselves in a really great way feel exactly the same, but they're just not as vocal about it. And I think that that is the piece for me, as I've shared in a previous video, that's the piece for me that's really hard. I think about like friendships and life and everything. It's hard for me to pretend that everything is fine when everything is not fine. Everything is not fine in the country. Everything is not fine in our lives. There's a lot of stuff. We're human beings floating on this weird planet, and we're just supposed to act like paperwork is the most important thing, or expenses, or whatever it may be. Like, it's not. It is not the most important thing, but yet for some reason we are bogged down mentally with all of these things. And I mean, just to repeat myself from a previous video as well, I think that women do have it harder. I think specifically, I can think of the fact that when I get ready in the morning, I wake up in the morning and I can't just roll out of bed and do whatever I damn please, you know what I mean? I have to get ready. When I look in the mirror, it's not like I see the face that I'm gonna have for the rest of the day. I have to put on makeup. Then society tells you you have to get the right makeup, and that, you know, go to Sephora and get high-end makeup, and these are the brands that are cool, and who dictates that? These are the things that you have to be cool, or to be as awesome as this next person, or to show that you're wealthy, to show that you're impressive in some way. This is the weight that you have to be. If you're not that weight, you should go on a diet. Here's Weight Watchers. Here's Oprah telling you that you have to go on a diet. You know, a billionaire who's one of the most powerful women in the world telling you like, oh, I still struggle with my weight. Here's a great way for you to lose weight. Like, I understand specifically around weight loss, it's like a health thing too. But at the same time, it's like we're bogging ourselves down with so many things. And then people wonder, why are you depressed? Why are you upset? Why are you stressed out? Calm down. Like, there's a million things to be upset about at all times. I'm actually still only talking about the simplest ones, because I never know when the right time is to talk about the heavier stuff. But the heavier stuff is there too. I got my hair done today, and it's strange because I'm gonna post a picture and be like, oh, it's great, I got my hair done, and you know, maybe people will be like, oh, it's very nice, great, wonderful, you know, and I don't know if I feel like it's wonderful sometimes, honestly. Like, I have such mixed emotions. It's like almost like there's two people inside of my brain, because I love frivolous things. That's my favorite stuff, in fact. But I also hate it. I feel like I feel scared. Most of the time I feel scared about everything. I feel scared about the future, the stuff that we can control, the stuff that we can't control. I'm scared for my mother getting older. I'm scared about her, you know, having to live with me one day, having money to take care of her. She doesn't have health insurance, she doesn't have life insurance, she doesn't have money. I'm scared about, like, my mother's health. I'm scared about my stepfather, if God forbid something happened to my mother first. I'm scared for my own health the day that somebody, you know, a doctor walks in and tells you have cancer. I'm scared for my husband's health. I'm scared for my cat dying. My cat's 15 and I know one day she's gonna die. Like, I'm scared to ever lose my job. I'm scared that things will get so expensive in Nashville, a very popular city obviously, that we'll never be able to buy a house, that we won't be able to support ourselves. I'm scared for everything. Those are only a few things. I'm obviously scared about like world issues too, and I'm horrified and petrified of the fact that so many horrific things are going on in the world right now. And I feel like probably 1% of them are covered, if that, by national news media in the United States. I am scared about a lot of things, basically. And, you know, if sometimes it takes one small thing to suddenly get your brain going, and it gets all jolted and you get upset or you get emotional or freaked out or angry or whatever it may be. Sometimes I go into this weird zombie mode where I'm just depressed. Like, I just sit there and I'm just depressed. And my husband will be the person to be like, why are you depressed? What happened? Well, nothing really specifically happened. My mind just started thinking about something that was really depressing, or something that is worrying me, or something that scared me. Maybe it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it happened 15 years ago. Maybe it is happening right now. Like, financial stuff, health stuff, family stuff, work stuff, everything. Like, I think that something really important in life, so you can't do much about some of these things, obviously. A lot of these things that I'm talking about right now are like out of your control, and worrying, I know, will do nothing to solve them. In fact, it makes things worse. But what I can say is, if there's any moral to anything that I'm thinking right now, it is that we're all going through something. So I often think about how you could be a millionaire and you can be going through the exact same issues. I mean, I just mentioned Oprah. She has all the money in the world, and certainly she's very vocal about her issues, as are many celebrities and people that you think have everything that you could possibly imagine, and people always joke that they want to be rich and famous. You see all the issues that go along with those things and how quickly things are taken away from people. So I don't think that's the answer. I think that the answer is treating people really, really kindly. And I think kindness as a topic is like almost cliche and corny to a certain extent. And also I think that I've heard people I know personally say, oh, I'm just not nice for nice's sake. And I want to share about that I think there's different levels of being nice. I think that kindness is even more important than being nice. I don't think that somebody has to be nice as a person. I think kindness is important. I have a cousin actually who is not necessarily nice. She like will complain about things a lot and is very vocal when she doesn't understand something, or when she doesn't want to do something, or when she wants something her way. But she's a very kind person, and that is like so consistent and so separate in her personality. She doesn't have to be a nice person to be kind. She's just kind naturally. She understands what that means. And I don't think, or I question, if a lot of people actually understand what kindness is. And I can understand that when you're living inside of your body, you have your brain. So being empathetic, sympathetic, or kind to other people's conditions or situations is probably really tough. And especially because you don't know what their experiences have been. So how could you possibly know exactly how to treat them that will help them best? Like, you're coming from a totally different world of experiences. You could live next door to each other, but in those two separate houses, very different things are going on. You could eat dinner at the same time, but they're very different dinners with very different conversation. And the way they're affecting you is different because we're all different. So it's a really, really, really daunting task to think about how to be kind to everybody. Like, it's probably one of the most daunting things I could think of. But I also think that it's really important. And part of kindness is definitely empathy. And empathy, to me, means putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and getting to the point where you are so genuinely empathetic that it's not hard for you, or you don't have to think about it or work hard for it, that you just get it, that you can get a text from somebody, or you can be on the phone with somebody, or somebody could be sharing their day over a cup of coffee with you, and you can think about it in a way that maybe you haven't had the same experiences, but you can at least understand where they're coming from, take it from their own little circle, their perspective, and take it for what it is, as opposed to putting it through your own lens. And how, like, again, how difficult is that? So at the end of the day, kindness is not cliche. Kindness is not easy. It's something so deep that I think that a lot of us are just not good at, and maybe it's not our fault. I don't know how well any of us are taught kindness, especially in this era. I don't think that it's even seen as a priority. I think that, like, looking out for yourself is seen as a priority, and I agree with that. I'm actually not the friendliest person in the world. It's not that I'm mean. It is that I'm scared. I'm scared of communication with other people, like face-to-face communication. I'm scared of that. And I'm scared that I'm gonna let people down, or that I'm not gonna know the right thing to say. I am scared that they'll depend on me and I won't want to answer a phone call and I'll feel bad. I think that a lot of human communication in my life has made me feel bad to some extent, whether it was my fault or the other person's fault, or both. I think that it normally makes me feel bad. So if something makes you feel bad, you don't tend to want to do it very often. And that is why I don't communicate very often with people. I think that it's easier through this kind of like media or medium. And I think it's easier in professional settings because you're getting paid, and it's, you know, that like this is a business transaction, a business communication. It doesn't have to go any further than this. But in real life, I don't know how far it goes. Like, I used to be so much better at that kind of stuff when I was younger, but a lot of those experiences like tormented me a little bit. Like, and sometimes I don't realize how much things affect me until years and years later, when I'm like sitting and psychoanalyzing myself, like, why am I like this? Which I'm sure a lot of us do. And then you start looking back and you're like, that's why. About all these different things that have happened. And so I don't know, I look back and I think about things like I want to make a video still. I have to collect my thoughts on it about high school and middle school, and I've been thinking about all these different things that happened to me, and I was not really bullied. I have a few bullying experiences, but certainly not terribly bullied like other people, and I was lucky because there are probably a lot of reasons that I could have been bullied. But there were like key moments that stand out. So if like a couple key moments stand out, it's not like it was happening every day. So it wasn't like a bad experience. It wasn't a great experience either. In fact, it's very nondescript for the most part. I know that those are formative years that help us to grow into the person we're going to become. But really, the defining moments for me in those ages were with like my mom and our like life outside of school, because like my mother was just an interesting person, and the older I get and the more I think about it, like, because I'm those ages now that I remember her being, you know, and so I think I would never be that person that my mother was. And she's a great person, but the choices she made had detrimental effects to me. And sometimes I feel like, and I think I'm getting to the reason why I'm so depressed, I hope I don't cry, I don't know, the reason why maybe I'm feeling depressed in part lately is because I feel like I was like robbed in a sense. I feel like I was robbed from confidence somehow. Like, I think I see a lot of people and they're very confident in many different ways. They're confident in themselves, in what they have to say, and what they have to offer. They're just confident, and I am not. And it makes me sad because the reason why I'm not is I don't even know how to explain it exactly. It's not that I'm not confident. It's very complicated. It's like this weird gray area. It's like, I guess when you have a lot of opportunity in life, like when you're born into a middle class or upper middle class family, like many people that I was raised around were, like they had big houses. I lived in a suburban town for most of my life, and they had big houses. So you'd go over to your friend's house and you would see all that they have. A traditional living room and family room, a kitchen with a stocked refrigerator, electricity, a phone line, like for the most part basic things, but sometimes like little extras too. Like they would go to Disney World, like their mom would pay the bills. I don't know, like they lived in one house and maybe they would later on inherit that house, and they'd have that money that either they could live in that house with their family, or they could sell the house and use that money towards a new house that they wanted to buy for their family. They understood things like healthy, normal things, and my family was not like that. So I never had that confidence or that stability behind backing me. Like it was always like me with nothing behind me, whereas a lot of people have them with something behind them. And I am, older now, and I still do not have, I have nothing behind me except for me. So it's like 3 times the pressure affecting me so much lately, because when I was younger, it definitely didn't affect me. Maybe it's because when you get older, your brain is more developed and you have more time to look back as an adult and think, where's the point where I got fucked up? And there are a lot of places where I could look back on my childhood and realize. And sometimes I feel like a fraud. Like, for instance, many of the jobs that I've had in New York City and even here in Nashville, many of the people that I work with had normal traditional backgrounds, and they were raised in an area or like a situation in which they were able to experience all kinds of things. Like when you have expendable money, obviously you can go on vacations and you can go do sports and activities, and you're just raised with different things as like the norm. My normal was not anything like their normal, and so I think my camera's getting hot, so I'm probably gonna have to end this soon. It's hard for me to relate, and I think that a lot of people don't take the time in life, and since I've experienced it myself, I know this is true. People don't take time to consider other people's backgrounds and what they are accustomed to, and how something that's different is not bad. People come from different backgrounds, and in this country we suffer a lot. A lot of people don't have money, and I know that there are ways that the government could make it easy for all of us, not through just subsidized housing, not through food stamps. Like, they could make it easier for all of us, and I know that they choose not to. I know that this is a very scary time we're living in, and that doesn't make it any easier. None of that can be fixed today. I mean, there's amazing people in our next generation who are trying to fix it, but what we can do for ourselves on a daily basis and each other is be kind. And I love that this is the overall theme of what I'm talking about, because I think it is an answer, it is a solution. If we all made a conscious effort to be kind to one another in any way that we could, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, think of what a different world we would be living in. I'm gonna end it there, but maybe I'll continue. I think I'll do like a real talk series. I'm not afraid to touch these topics. So I hope that somebody could relate to this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Probably a lot more fun, probably a fashion haul. Those keep my sanity going. Bye guys.